Hey guys, what's up? So, I tested out the Essence Taupe It Up palettes today and extremely let down, to be completely honest. You guys, I'm going to talk about it in the monthly disappointments because I was very excited for this palette because it was really hyped up by a few of my favorite YouTubers. And I mean, I liked the look I got, but I really had to work with it. And for somebody who uses, Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Jeffree Star quality on a day-to-day basis, this just like wasn't it. And brands are raising their prices now. I don't know if you've seen this, but Natasha Denona raised her mini palettes from $25 to $27. Pat McGrath did the same thing with her big mothership. She went from $125 to $128. Get those on sale. I literally got a mothership kit for $130 on sale. Get it on sale. Wait for the sales, or use your points at Sephora, whichever works for you. But anyways, every brand is raising their prices, so I wouldn't pay more than $4 for this. But anyways, I'm going to be doing my review of the Profusion Cosmetics Matte Palette. I've used every single shade in here at least once, so I am very excited to talk about this. I have a vast knowledge of Profusion Cosmetics' palettes because I own quite a few. And I've reviewed quite a few of them on my channel, so if you're curious about that, then, check that out. But anyways, here we go. I am going to swatch each individual shade. Kai is in the background. He was supposed to be asleep. He's not. He's smiling at me. Alright, so the first shade is called Sugar. It is a matte kind of white shade. It's perfect for a base. I love using this shade as a base. That's what I used it for today, was as a base. It's perfect. I've had Sugar in a few other Profusion palettes, so this is a repeat shade. I've worked with it before. Next shade over is Gentle. It is a matte banana shade. I think you could honestly use this as a banana, like, under eye setting powder. It's another really good shade. It's a repeat shade. I use this sometimes to set. When I don't want to use this, when I want a little bit more yellow, I will set with Gentle. This, again, repeat shade. I've worked with it before. The next shade over is Doll. It's a nice kind of matte brown transition shade. It's a little warm. Profusion eyeshadows are a little powdery if you haven't worked with them before, but they are very good quality. They're not Natasha Denona quality, but they are quality palettes. This is a very good transition shade. I like working with it. I don't think I've used this one previously, but I could be wrong. Next is Adventurous. Right here, it's another matte brown. I mean, you have all the mattes you could need. One of the problems I have with Profusion is their big palettes. They don't put a variety of mattes and shimmers, so I love having this all matte palette because they put way too many shimmers for how many mattes you get. But it's another good matte brown. I like having the option. Adventurous is a repeat shade. I have worked with it before, and I have loved it in the past as well. Just decided to light my candle. Anyways, next over is Heavenly. This is a nice light brown. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the e.l.f. I Love You, a Latte palette. I have that. It's like a 4-pan. Whereas like white, it has a kind of brown like this, another brown, and then a deeper brown. And they're kind of switched like that, and it drives me insane because this is a very light, cool tone brown. Well, it's not. It's warm but cool tone at the same time. I want to switch them because this is the lightest brown. I love working with this shade. I've never worked with it before, and I love it so much. Next shade over is called Bestie. Again, it's another brown. It's a lot deeper, so you can definitely use this for, like, deepening up the crease, deepening up the outer corner. That is running more cool on my hand in the swatch, but it's still really nice. Have not previously worked with that shade either. Next we have Cozy, another kind of matte brown, deeper shade. Sorry, these shades are hard to describe. This one is not as deep as Bestie, even though it looks deeper in the pan. This one I would say has a little bit more red in it than Bestie. Bestie has more cool in it. I have not worked with Cozy before, I don't think. I might have, but I love it. I mean, that's the first row, and it's like a staple, perfect kind of like row for everybody. Honestly, it's kind of giving me Biba vibes, but like extended. This palette's giving me Biba vibes. Even though it should give me Safari vibes, because Safari was Natasha Denona's all matte palette, but I prefer the Biba palette. Okay, so next I'm going to swatch Polite. This is another matte base shade. I love this shade. I've worked with it before. It's another matte white kind of shade. You can definitely see it has more white pigment in it than Sugar does. Sugar is a little more translucent, so if you want a blanked out canvas, I would definitely suggest going with this shade. I have worked with it before. Next is Serendipity. I've worked with this shade before as well, and I don't remember it being the best quality. However, when I used it in this palette, it was good. It's a nice matte mustard yellow, and I don't have a lot of yellows in my collection. However, just having this one yellow is enough for me. Okay, next is the shade Proud. I've worked with Proud before. Proud's very powdery. I will give you guys that. It's very powdery. It's kind of like a matte cinnamon brown shade. Proud is more powdery in this palette than any other color in this palette. I'm gonna say that, like, I don't know if you guys can see. I've actually used this like 2 times, and I've dug a dip into it, and I've used every other shade in here twice, and it's just like loosely or pressed, I would say, and the other ones are more firmly pressed. Okay, next is this shade Fearless. So I'm going to, yeah, Fearless is a little powdery as well, but it's not as powdery as Proud. Fearless has more orange in it, for sure. But it's still, like, look at how pigmented these are. Like, there are so many drugstores that can't get this. I really have been loving this palette, in case you guys are curious. It's perfect for a warm tone look. I have worked with Fearless before. Alright, next is Zing. I've worked with this shade before as well. I believe it was in the Sultry palette. It's just a nice, again, a nice matte brown. I use this a lot to deepen up the crease. Have like one of those lighter browns in the upper crease as a transition shade, this one in the lower crease, and have a nice gradient effect. All these shades work great with each other. They work great with other palettes. This is honestly the perfect companion palette, I would say. I would get this palette just to have it, so that way you have all these mattes, because it looks kind of boring, but it's not. It's honestly a perfect companion palette. Okay, next is the shade Devoted. It's a matte kind of pink. That is way firmly pressed. It almost looks like it's going to hard pan. But it's a magenta pink. I have even used this before, and I love it. I've worked with this before as well, I believe, in the Sultry palette. I don't know. I've worked with a lot of these shades before because they are repeat shades. This is a repeat shade. I think it is better in this palette than it was in the other ones. That is something I have to say, is the repeat matte shades that are in this palette, I think, are better. Like, they improved on it, because when they went to go make an all matte palette, they wanted the best quality that they could offer, is almost what I'm thinking. Alright, next is Slick. It's a gray. If you don't know, I believe Slick was in the Chocolates palette that I just decluttered. This is kind of a charcoal gray. It's got some green in it. I don't like using this shade. The thing I found with this shade is it sticks in weird places. Like, it would go perfectly with this look, but I'm still testing out that Taupe It Up palette, which is why I only put Sugar down, because I'm testing out the Taupe It Up palette. But still a good shade. Good shade nonetheless. Here is Top Notch. I don't think this is a repeat shade. I don't remember working with it. It's just a very, very nice matte brown light transition shade for me. Next is Dynasty. I have worked with Dynasty before in a previous palette, and it was not the best quality. However, I like this one. This one is a matte orange, and like Serendipity, it wasn't good in the previous palette, but in this one, it seems like they improved on the formula, and I like working with this. This is a good matte orange worm that it's like the only one I need. Okay, next is Alert, right here. I don't think I've worked with this one before, but I could be wrong. It's another warm toned kind of brown. Really good for the crease. Madly is next. I'm pretty sure I've worked with this shade before. It's another very, very warm toned red brown. Not as pigmented as the other ones, as you can see, but still, like, you can work with it. Next is Fuse. a brown again. I mean, they're all browns, but like, look at how pigmented these are. Like, brands try to get this kind of formula, and they can't do it. Next is Go Girl, another matte, kind of like magenta shade. This one, again, not the best formula, but you can work with it. And then you have a matte black called VIP. I compared this to Pat McGrath's. This is a black, but it's a buildable black. All in all, my final thoughts on this palette is it's a great companion palette. I recommend it. Good formula. You can work with all the shades. A lot of them are really pigmented. They improved on the formula. But I'm going to end this video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. So like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. All that social media great stuff. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.